so are Vaughn. So this is the clash of the titans, you know. It's going to be great play all around. It's really going to be about whoever can execute better as a team.
So it's not even the semifinals yet, but this certainly has a finals feel, a main event feel, as the #1 seed Von Menace is forced to play the #3 seed GankStars Vega already. Let's get into the picks and bans, and it starts off with GankStars Vega eliminating that scarf that has worked so well for Von.
Ooh, wow.
Not Fortress.
I would have done Fortress either way.
Shocker.
They've seen Scarf coming out of Von Menace in the jungle, which actually proved to be a very strong early game that scaled well into the late. On Von's side of the game, I'm not too sure who they're going to ban first, but preferably they're going to try and lock out a pick coming out of Old School or Wrecked.
All right, we'll wait for the second pick or the second ban, and while we do, any additional thoughts on these GankStars players?
Not too much. Like seeing them play yesterday and seeing Von play yesterday, both teams probably excelled my expectations in terms of performance in the live event. Out of all the matches yesterday, I do consider like these two teams to pretty much excelled. Like they showed that they were probably one of the best teams, and they did well above all the rest.
And it's been nice. GankStars Vega, the only team with live play experience. They did play in Korea in the World Invitational. Hafu, Von Menace eliminates Celeste, and both of those Crystal Mages will not be played.
Yeah, I mean, Crystal Mages just have such strong AoE, such strong scaling, and I think it's wise for both these teams to take them out. So now it's kind of going to be interesting in the lane matchup.
All right, a little extra animation there. And now, poor Hafu.
The double.
You're being disembodied there on the graphic. All right, we're waiting as the picks and bans will continue, and we'll just wait for that. Rome, you spent a lot of time thinking about this matchup. What does it look like if it's a good start for one team versus the other? What are they trying to do?
What Von is very good at is they're able to play different comps depending on their styles. So it doesn't matter if they're trying to guarantee themselves an aggressive comp or a passive comp, because they're going to play around that. They're going to take its benefits, and they're just going to focus and centralize their play. What GankStars is going to do is pretty much the exact same thing. So when these two teams collide, it's whoever makes the least mistakes, whoever capitalizes on the other team's mistakes, and overall positioning during team fights is what's going to determine the outcome of this game.
All right, now we are back with the picks and bans. It is a Fortress from Von Menace. You did predict that. GankStars countered with Adagio and Arden. Any thoughts there?
So something coming out of GankStars is probably a secret comp involving Saw, the mini turret, hopefully.
Involving Saw?
Or Rona. Saw or Rona.
All right, so Saw or Rona, we'll see what happens there. The Jewel Kashka Fortress comp comes out. Von Menace gets that early game aggression comp.
Yep, they do. They do indeed. With Von Menace, is like what they're going to try and do is engage very early, put out that jungle domination. But because they have all these melee characters, like scaling onto the late game is going to be very hard. It's going to be depending on how much they can use the first 10 minutes to their benefit.
Also pushing turrets, right? It's going to be very hard for them to poke at GankStars Vega. And with the Arden kind of keeping melee at bay, it will be hard for them to engage.
For sure, but
All
we're
right.
still seeing like when they're going to pick this Saw for their last pick.
All right,
You're
they're
convinced
clearly
on the Saw.
thinking
I'm
about it
convinced on the
here.
Saw.
We'll see if Rome is right. I mean, obviously, there it is. The crowd will erupt right now. There is only one hero who is considered completely, utterly out of the meta, unplayable in competitive play. His name is Saw, and he's going to see some action here. Maybe this is how, Hafu, you beat the #1 seed.
The crowd is going wild.
I mean, it's fun. Like, literally the only hero. And it's because in the North American meta, it's very rotation-centric, it's very mobility-centric. Saw cannot rotate, cannot be mobile, but Rome, that Arden will help.
Oh, much so. But with this match coming up, GankStars Vega, their Saw isn't going to rotate.
It's just going to be pushed?
He's just going to push. What they're going to do is they're going to play very passive in the jungle, take what they can from their rotation, and just go up to lane, push as a three-man team, and just try and take as many turrets as they can.
So force the fight onto them.
Yes.
All right, so it's going to be all about how does Von Menace react under the circumstances. They're going to have a really hard-pushing comp coming at them and at their lane. when normally we would be talking all about Kashka Fortress in the jungle, trying to get and live in the enemy side jungle. Hafu, if Von Menace is too aggressive in the jungle, maybe they won't be able to get to lane when GankStars rotates.
That is true, but they do have that hive mind, and they rotate as a team and also very quickly. You can kind of use the fact that Saw is slow to capitalize on maybe getting the gold mine early, getting both jungles. I think it will be hard for GankStars.
Okay, I cannot wait. It is going to be the #1 seed, Von Menace, the #3 seed, GankStars Vega. Rome, any closing thoughts? Like, understanding now, you see the comps, you know what each team wants to do. What does a good early game look like for each team?
What's going to happen in this match early is Von is going to try and put pressure in their jungle. They're going to try and invade into GankStar Vega's jungle and try and take as much CS as they can. With Adagio and Arden, they're just going to bail. They're going to run up to lane, try and help shove those turrets, and hopefully they'll end this match within 10 minutes.
Within 10 minutes?
Within
10 minutes.
All right, the average Vainglory match, 18 to 22 minutes. I guess GankStars Vega has a different win condition with this interesting comp. They're going to try to have that time. What is kind of the number after which you would say, all right, it didn't work, and maybe this is going to be good for Von?
Depending on how well their jungle farms, it could range from anywhere from like 15 to 20. But because what we're going to be looking at this game is reflex blocks. How Saw reflex blocks during the jumps or the stuns coming out of Koshka is going to be detrimental to how this game will play out.
All right, I cannot wait to get started. #1 seed, #3 seed, both winners in their first matches. Let's go to the casters for the action.
Thank you, Playoff Beard. Once again, I'm Tasty Bacon. Still by my side is Action Jackson, and we are getting set to go into our third best-of-3 series of the day. Von Menace, the #1 seed, taking on GankStars Vega, and finally, we get to see the Saw.
I thought the only time we were going to get to see Saw is the cutout up there, to be completely honest. But turns out we're going to get it. I'm really looking forward to it. Fuji actually has a great poker face, because I was talking to him the other day. I was like, I'm going to be really disappointed if you don't pick Saw. And he was like, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. But there's our great crowd here at the esports arena. And we are getting set to get into game because this is going to be a big one. It's a very similar composition to what we saw Arden Axiom run earlier in the day with the Adagio Arden and the Glaive, just trying to power up the Glaive, get as much damage as you can. Now we have it with Saw in place of Glaive. Saw is going to be doing so much damage if he can just stand still and just pump those attacks into the members of Von. And the thing is, it's 3 melee heroes from Von. So they're going to have to get close to Saw, at which point he can just start peppering them. And if they want to run away or disengage from that, they're going to take a ton of damage. And I think my favorite thing is what we're going to be seeing in the lane from Saw, the stutter stepping. Saw's stutter step animation may be the best thing that I've ever seen.
Look at how quickly GankStars Vega just goes straight to lane. Like they don't even pretend like they want to do anything aggressive in the jungle. They just head up here, try and start putting down the push. I like that scout trap placement though, coming out of Von Menace, just to really mess with their ability to walk up to the tower and hit it. Phoenix taking a ton of harassment early on here though. They are looking to kill some turrets ASAP.
Yeah, this is definitely what you want to do with Saw, is just push down these turrets. And we're going to see a lot of action in this lane, and here they go.
Oh, Von C trying to go for the first kill here. Fuji is very, very low, but he's stutter-stepping like a god right now, trying to get away. He's going to put down that suppressing fire as well, and he survives the aggression coming out of Von Menace for now at least. Very nice job by GankStars. He's got to kite back, though. You got to be careful. Yeah, he's going to use that roadie run. Get back to his turret and the safety thereof. Old School, though, is getting collapsed upon. Jewel jumping forward, trying to go for that kill. Suppressing fire. Gonna keep the remaining members of Von Menace back, though. Very high-octane game so far, Tasty.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to be seeing a lot of here. There's just going to be so much pressure in the lane. And right now, Von, they're playing a little bit out of their usual element instead of having to group up.
Whoa,
oh my
look at
goodness.
that damage! Fuji finds the first kill of the match. right onto Phoenix. Beautiful play coming out of Rekt, but here's the counter engage. Double stun comes in from Von C. This is massive. Old School, he is gonna go down as well. 2 kills over to Von Menace.
And this is what we love to see here at the Vainglory League Live Finals. A ton of action. Already 3 kills before we even hit minute 3. This is going to be such an exciting game. Right now, Kashka, Love Ice Forever, has just been farming up this jungle on his own, getting a ton of experience and plenty of gold still because there's so much focus on the lane from GankStars. He's just invading the opposing jungle and just taking that for himself. That is the entire jungle belongs to Kashka at the moment, and that's a very dangerous thing.
It really is. You cannot afford to. Kashka has such great base stats, right? That's one of the reasons why she's so good at the moment. You just build tanky and you still deal good damage. But when you get 2 jungles worth of farm, you're going to be doing crazy amounts of damage, tanking a crazy amount as well. They really need her to get strong quickly to stop Fuji from just running away with the game.
Yeah, and that's going to be the key for them, is letting Kashka farm up here, but still, Kashka is still an early game focused hero at the end of the day. So Kashka is going to have to make her presence felt sooner rather than later to keep this pressure on the lane from really having an impact. And right now, Von has been doing a great job. And here they go.
Fuji, look at that. Already level 6 coming out of Love Ice Forever. He finds that kill. Fuji, he is not getting the push down that he wants to right now.
Yeah, and that's the big difference with that solo jungling. Level 6, while everyone else in the game is level 4 or level 3. That's a massive advantage, and with that stun...
Oh, Phoenix. He's looking for Old School. The turnaround is actually doing a lot of damage, though. Rekt nearly finding himself a return kill there, going on to Von C as well, trying to put the pressure down, buy some time to let Fuji get back to lane. With them being so low, it actually might be quite hard for Von Menace to defend this next push.
Yeah, Old School is maxing out Agent of Wrath on this Adagio just to get more damage being supplied with that attack damage increase.
Oh, Phoenix, look at that coming in. Kashka jumps forward, but this attack speed out of saw is massive. He gets away. They get an ace at only 4.5 minutes into the game. What a crazy match so far.
And this could very well be the first turret going down just 5 minutes into the game. GankStars is playing this composition perfectly.
They really are. I mean, that last fight was huge. Picking up an early turret, getting themselves an ace at only just under 5 minutes. They might even get the gold mine here too, which is surprising given the composition they're running. A decent payout as well, so it's not anything to be sneezed at. But here comes Von Menace. They want to get some more kills. Fuji kiting backwards. He's going to be jumped on by Phoenix. Old School is going to be the sacrificial lamb for the side of GankStars, allowing Fuji and Rekt to get out of there.
That is still a very smart play, though. They decide, you know, one of us is going to go down. Let's just make that sacrifice instead of having multiple players losing their lives in that fight. Just cut their losses, make it as small of a loss as possible, and get back into lane to defend this turret.
Yeah, very, very smart plan by the members of GankStars. They got to be careful not to let this game go too late, though. It's like we heard earlier on. It's all about pushing these towers as quickly as possible at the moment. They're actually having a bit more jungle presence than I frankly expected them to.
You know, what is the most surprising to me, to be completely honest, is the fact that Old School didn't get himself an Iron Guard contract. I mean, it only works now. It has been changed so that only the player with the lowest gold gets the bonus from it. But even still, with them spending all their time in the lane, they're actually behind in gold despite having that turret taken. There's so much more farm on the side of Von that, yeah, they get that lane pressure, yeah, they get that turret, but they're still behind.
They are for now, but is it going to stay that way? You can see GSV trying to pick up a fight here, doing some nice poke with the suppressing fire coming out of Fuji. Unable to actually get any kills off the back of it, though. Speaking of the farm, just to put this into perspective, Love Ice Forever on 50, and Old School, who was the farming jungle on the side of GankStars, sitting at 12. That is a massive differential.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was just talking about. It's just a huge, huge difference. And yeah, they're going to have this pressure that they're continuing to show, just shoving in this lane, but they have to be wary of Kasha coming out from the side with the Yummy Catnip Frenzy. There is already a reflex block picked up by Fuji just to make sure he can try and make sure that ult doesn't connect on him, doesn't stun him up for that duration. But it's still, the gold differential is something they have to be wary of. They're down by 1,000 gold while still having that turret advantage. Like, the turret alone is worth 900 gold for the team. So without that turret, they'd be down 2,000 gold at 7.5 minutes.
I kind of feel like GankStars isn't being audacious enough here. You know, they need to make stuff happen soon. At the moment, they're very afraid of picking any fights. The turret of theirs might go down here. Love Ice Forever on the backside, just focusing on it. Can he get the kill? That is going to be a good reflex block from Fuji. He's stutter stepping all over the place. He gets one kill. He might find even more. He's still alive. He finally goes down, but already 2 members falling on Von Menace. A huge fight coming out. I wonder, though, how much of that was to do with the fact that Love Ice Forever was focusing on the turret as the fight broke out.
Not only focusing the turret, but when turrets are destroyed in Vainglory, they do blow up and do a pretty sizable chunk of damage, especially early on. So GankStars won that fight, but they had a lot of help. And it's not actually a very good sign for GankStars at the moment. Von is playing this perfectly. They knew what the strategy was going to be. As soon as they saw this, they knew what GankStars was going to be trying to do. They knew they were going to be putting a ton of focus on the lane, and they immediately sent Kashka to go farm up the jungle on her own, and it has just worked out perfectly. And like you said, GankStars, because of the way that Von played this, they haven't been able to just constantly stay in the lane and just constantly pressure these turrets. They got that first turret, and that second turret hasn't taken any damage.
Yeah, they really haven't been able to make their way down there. I like the build that Love Ice Forever is going for as well. The Aftershock into the Atlas Pauldron. Of course, you need an Atlas Pauldron against Saw Adagio. There's no way you can get away without picking that one up. But the Aftershock is providing a decent chunk of damage there as well. So Love Ice Forever is a good threat onto the back line of GankStars. Right now, GankStars is actually trying to find a pick, looking for a catch in the jungle. Look at this. Von is pushing turrets faster than the turret pushing composition of GankStars right now, but a fight is about to break out. Fuji kiting around on the backline, using that suppressing fire. Is it going to be enough? Old School locked down by the Yummy Catnip Frenzy. Fuji, he's not doing any damage right now. He's going to jump away. Big Red Button misses. Love Ice Forever tries to jump on the backline. He wants Fuji so darn bad, but he can't quite find it. That's going to be the Gauntlet picking up the kill. And this is a huge fight for Von Menace.
Yeah, Love Ice Forever did end up going down in the end, but the fight is still going on. Von C and Phoenix are looking for this turret. They're going to take it. And like you said, Von is pushing turrets faster and more efficiently than the turret pushing composition.
You know, and the way they're playing these fights, super smart as well. Going on to Old School actually reduces Saw's damage by a considerable amount. So the fact that they just pick up that kill, obviously there's no reflex block on Old School to get out of the Yummy Catnip Frenzy early on, is working wonders for the side of Von Menace. We've heard analysts talk about it. We've talked about it before. Von Menace, an amazing team at thinking on their feet. They're extremely versatile. And they're showing that right now. They've adapted to this strategy coming out of GankStars perfectly.
Yeah, and this isn't exactly a strategy that you really prepare for that heavily going into this tournament. Yeah, you know everybody knew Fuji had the Saw up his sleeve, but it's still not a composition that you necessarily prepared for, and Von is just playing against it so well. Like you said, Old School was the target that time of the Yummy Catnip Frenzy, unable to buff up the Saw, which is what this composition relies on. Now there is at least the Crucible for Rex to help that out, but Von is just continuing to push down this lane, forcing GankStars to have to recall to try and defend this.
Yeah, I mean, they are going to be able to stop a lot of damage from going down onto that turret, but it still took a decent chunk. So I feel like if Von Menace keep doing what they're doing, the onus is absolutely on GankStars to find a chink in the armor and make stuff happen. They're looking maybe for a fight here, but unable to find it.
Yeah, now with the Gauntlet, I think that's going to be a real key. Is now they go
Fuji, he is alone on the other side of the wall from Old School right now, taking a ton of damage. Goes down before he can find any kills. Wrecked, likely soon to follow. Von Menace, maybe even looking for the ace here. Big Red Button, that's a lot of damage. Ace comes through for Von Menace. They're getting their own back for the ace earlier on by GankStars. And this game, I think it might be out of reach for GankStars at this point. They have fallen so far behind now.
Yeah, everything for GankStars was put into that early game basket, and they just have not been able to find it. VONM is just so strong. Their ability to adapt, their ability to move and play together, even when they started off separate, which was a surprise. I thought maybe they would GankStars would have the advantage by forcing VONM to play out of their element, but VONM is just showing the fact that they can play multiple styles. They are not just the early aggression, and now they're looking for that late aggression.
Yeah, Fuji not actually going to be the first target here, but he is standing amongst all 3 members of VONM Menace. Old School goes down, that's the heals gone, and VONM Menace securing themselves a second ace right off the back of the last one. It is impossible for them to be out of their element. They are the entire periodic table.
Yeah, this gold lead has just skyrocketed in the last 3 minutes. They are now up to a 6,000 gold lead. It had been right around 2,000 to 3,000, and they have now doubled that. They take another turret, 7,000 gold lead for VONM Menace, 13 minutes in. There's 2 minutes until the Kraken spawns, and this entire time, it's just been the fact that they weathered that early game storm so well and then put out the aggression of their own. They finally have been able to turn on the Jets and just go full bore into this GankStars team, and they have not had an answer.
They really haven't. And, you know, the thing is, when you're playing the Saw, you need to spin up before you can fight. Look at this. He hasn't had a chance to. He can't really turn around and do the damage. Old School getting that Verse of Judgment off, though. VONC might fall here. Can Fuji kite around and pick up some kills? That's the question. Rek trying desperately to keep him alive, but Love Eyes Forever gets the stun down onto Fuji. He can't get the kill. VONM Menace, 3rd ace of the game. They are on fire right now. Fuji and his team are kind of falling apart.
And again, infusions. Double infusion on Love Ice Forever, a crystal infusion for Phoenix. No infusions were on the board for GankStars, and that's one of their crystal turrets now gone. Love Ice Forever is also doing such a good job of jumping in onto Fuji and immediately hitting that Atlas Pauldron, completely denying his attack speed. VONM is just playing against this composition that GankStars put together. There's no better way to play against it.
And in addition to that, I want to talk about some items real quick. Because Fuji, he's got the Aegis and another reflex block, right? Like, he really wants to be able to get out of these stuns. But I feel like at this point, it still isn't working. Like, he's still got Catnip Frenzy last fight. This is going to be a big stun coming in from VONC, landing onto 3 members. Old School on the backside is going to be the sacrificial lamb yet again, trying to just buy time for Fuji and Rekt to get out of here. But look at this. Fuji did no damage that fight. Rekt was unable to get a good ultimate down. Here comes the on the hunt. Oh, Love Eyes Forever can't get the jump. Great recall coming out of Fuji. But at this point, it's just delaying the inevitable.
Yeah, it really does feel that way. The Kraken is being started up by VONM here almost immediately after it spawns. Really good to see that quick, decisive play. You know, 30 seconds after Kraken is spawned, it's now being released by VONM, and they're going to start pushing down this lane. They've won every single fight for the last 8 to 10 minutes, and there's really no reason why that should change, as this gold lead's just gotten massive. 10,000 gold ahead of GankStars, and here's the fight.
Phoenix, he wants Fuji right now. Jumping on the back line is falling quite low. They actually struggling to get onto. What a great stun coming out of GankStars. This could be a big fight for the side of GankStars. Can they get this kill onto Love Eyes Forever? Rekt jumping forward, can't secure it. Fuji sprinting towards Phoenix to pick it up, but meanwhile, the Kraken is inching ever slowly towards this turret. They need to take it down quickly. Fuji's got to start ramping up these attacks, or it is going to pick up turret all by itself.
Yeah, they are going to be able to take down the Kraken relatively quickly with the attack speed and the attack buffs on to Fuji.
Oh,
but
man.
will
Turret's
it be
gonna go
enough
down.
time? It's not. The turret is gone. That is an exposed Bane Crystal now for VONM. They finally lose a fight, but again, they got 1 kill, GankStars did, and immediately had to give up the chase to go kill that Kraken.
All right, so Fuji finally picking up some big lifesteal right now. Could help him survive a little bit longer in these fights. Serpent Mask is going to be a nice pickup, especially when you attack so much. You are going to heal a significant amount. He's got the reflex blocks to mean that he is attacking a lot. but is it too little too late?
Full infusions now for Vaughn as they go into this next fight. They're going to look to end the game.
Fuji trying desperately to run out here, is going to jump back, suppressing fire across the team, but here comes the Koshka ultimate. Last burst is going to get popped. Fuji is healing quite a lot off of this lifesteal, but he gets bursted down anyway. Love Ice forever. He's actually going to run towards the enemy base to survive this. He is going to get away with it, and man, VONM Menace, they are the final boss of this tournament, I am telling you.